Occult history, hidden history, mysteries of the planet that have not yet been solved or are kept hidden. A traditional educational system basically teaching us that human history dates back only 8,000 years, while religious texts date humanity back about 6,000 years. It's more than obvious that there is a huge pressure from some to hide the truth of history and origins of the human race. Although you may not agree, like some, with some of the questions, try to look at them with an open mind, though, and as you'll see, the history we have been taught could be distorted or even hidden from us. A map on a gazelle skin was found in Antarctica in 1929. Yes, in Antarctica, and a not-so-frozen Antarctica. The map was compiled in 1513 by Piri Reis, who had privileged access to the Imperial Library of Constantinople, today Istanbul. Piri Reis stated that he compiled and copied the data from a large number of maps contained in the notes found on the map, some of which date back to the 4th century BC or earlier, the time of Alexander the Great or earlier. History books tell us that Antarctica was discovered by Captain James Cook as he crossed the Antarctic Circle on January 17, 1773. How did Piri Reis know about Antarctica several hundred years before the discovery made by James Cook? Where did the Imperial Library of Constantinople get the information, and who is responsible for the original drawing of the said map? The last time Antarctica was not completely frozen was at least 4,000 BC or so it's impossible that humanity to have visited it many times long before our past was recorded. A tiny figurine of baked clay was found in the meantime during a boring from a huge drill in Napa, Idaho in 1889. The object is long in shape and 1 inch long and with one leg cut off at the knee or broken off. How many millennia would it take for an object like this to be buried 300 feet into the ground? There are about 100 pyramids in China which remain hidden under grass and forestry. There are pyramids on every continent in the world. Who built them and what is their reason for existence? In Ecuador, a large jade cup and 12 smaller ones were found, and although each of the smaller cups are slightly different in size, if one were to fill each of them and pour them into a larger one, their contents would exactly fill the larger one cup. The large cup has a perfect mosaic of the constellation Orion and other stars. Klaus Donner stated, "Inside the great bowl there is a lot of magnetism, and outside the bowl almost nothing." But geologists say this is impossible, because if a stone has metallic particles in it, it should be equally magnetic on both sides, in and out. Copper coin? If scientists say it's impossible, then who created these cups? In Illinois, a 200,000-year-old copper coin was found at a depth of 114 feet just outside of Chillicothe, and according to the Illinois Geological Survey, the coin is between 200,000 and 400,000 years old. So which civilizations made this coin? More than 350 artifacts were found in Ecuador in an ancient tunnel system. One artifact even shows the same pyramid with an all-seeing eye at the top as the one we're all more or less familiar with, and under a black light the eye takes on an interesting hue, while at the bottom of the artifact you can see a star map of Orion's belt along with writing that is older than any known on this planet. Orion's belt, according to Klaus Donner's research, the same script has been found all over the world, proving that there was a pre-existing world civilization that is far more ancient than any Sanskrit writing indicate. And we see an ongoing theme involving Orion's belt. The pyramids of Giza also reflect the exact same alignment as the three stars of the Orion's belt. Did visitors come to this planet from Orion's belt? And what is the significance of Orion's constellation zone? Professor Kurt Schildman, who calls this writing pre-Sanskrit, or over 6,000 years old, translated the writing as follows: "The Son of the Creator comes." He said that that's what it means. What is the real meaning of this pyramid, and why is this symbol still used? In the Anunnaki creation myths, Anu had two sons, Enki and Enlil. Enki, also known as Ea, or as Earth, in Sumerian texts was king, kind and loving, and a kind of genetically modified to the kind of genetically modified humans who mined gold for the Anunnaki, according to Sumerian legends. Does the Maker's son comes refer to Enki? The Old and New Testaments of the Holy Bible differ in many ways. The first clearly shows a vengeful God of people with doing away with them with the flood. Never mind that today the masses have no idea what's going on. And where did the Anunnaki myths come from, and where did the texts of the Old Testament come from? Well, they come from the first 5 books were written by Moses himself, we know. The Old Testament, Genesis 1:26 states, let us make man in our own image and likeness. Who do we, and who is Enki really? And are we to take him literally as one person, or are there many? So there are countless questions that we can ask. Where did these Anunnaki myths come from? And where do the texts of the Old Testament come from? As we said, the first 5 books were written by Moses himself. Were the texts plagiarized, some say. The Old Testament, Genesis 1:26 states, let us make man in our image and likeness. In 1851, the Dorchester, Massachusetts vessel 4.5 inches long, composed of a highly worked alloy of zinc and silver, was found after a dynamite blasted a large solid rock 15 meters below the surface. On its sides were inlaid flowers made of pure silver. The rock from which the vase came is estimated to be 100,000 years old. According to academics, which civilization was able to manufacture this type of art 100,000 years ago? That's the question. Over 200 metal balls have been found in South Africa and are estimated to be around 4.5 million years old. Are there 2 types of spheres? One of solid bluish metal, and there are 2 types, one of solid bluish metal and with white spots, another which is hollow ball filled with white spongy center. Jameson of 1982 said, recorded history tells us that civilized man has existed on Earth for between 6,000 to 8,000 years, so who made these spheres millions of years ago? With the exception of stone and precious metals, almost everything we own now will eventually turn to dust in the next few million years, the few millennia, 1,000 years, including television, cell phones, cars, airplanes, and anything made of plastic. If by chance some great cataclysm were to strike our planet within 100,000 years, every trace of our civilization would have been buried and disappeared by the passage of the decay of the years. Is it possible that there are malevolent demonic rulers who keep us in economic, political, especially spiritual servitude for literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years? Now, it seems that many researchers search but finding dead ends or new questions because they own all the traditional educational systems on the planet and are deliberately hiding, perhaps, the truth from us. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.